Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of Trash Talk. I'm here with a very, very special guest. Would you like to reintroduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Toastify. Thank you for having me. I'm a YouTuber with around 90, almost 100k. Almost 100k, we're getting there. I
Oh
do
yeah.
commentary videos, video essays, whatever you want to call them.
Well, I mean, last time you were on the podcast, what, nearly 2 years ago now? I can't remember how many you had. Was it like 20 odd thousand, 30,000, something like that? Maybe less.
I think so. Oh, I don't even. When I came back on your podcast. Oh, I remember. I don't even remember when this was because it's been a while. I feel like we've done 3, but I think this is the second time I've been in your podcast. I'm not too sure. It
Yeah.
feels
This is the second. I think it's because we've done like live streams and other like stuff.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, things have changed absolutely. I mean, probably hoping I was probably hoping back then I'd be past 100k by now, but we're getting there. We're close to getting there.
Yeah.
Um, it's crazy though. I still can't believe it's been like 2 years until it feels a lot shorter than that. It feels a lot
Oh no,
shorter.
100%. Like the past 2 years have flown by. It does not feel like 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the Elucid stuff happened after the podcast that we did was filmed. I think it was like a few weeks after, or maybe even more than that.
Really?
You dropped that video, yeah.
Oh
Uh,
my god. I does not feel like I did that like
yeah,
after before the Elucid video. That's
because
crazy.
the Pyro video or the French girl one had just dropped when we did the podcast.
Uh, You
So
see,
yeah,
Parlo's doing his own pyro stuff now.
yeah. He actually literally a minute ago messaged me because I've been like talking about it on Twitter, and he wants me to look over the document. But it's just gonna be awful. It's not gonna be good.
It's not going to be good. I've shot him a message because I'm kind of interested, but
Well,
I'm not really sure what's going to happen with that.
he's been obsessed with the pyrocynical stuff for months, and like me and Ace and loads of other people have just told him, you like, if you've got anything good, just hand it off to other content creators. Hand it off to you. You're one of the suggestions, or just anyone else that could handle like this situation and like put it into like a good video format or a document or whatever.
He needs to let it
And he
go.
hasn't.
The pyro stuff is dead. And you can take this from someone who's tried their absolute hardest to research as much as I can into Pyro's past and any other allegations there may be, and trying to get concrete proof from them. And the most I could find is that a few people came forward to me about one of his high school friends who he propped up in a few videos and went to events with. I assume they were close friends, Salel, which I made a video on eventually, because they came to me and they said that apparently this person was grooming someone. And they said that Pyro was kind of aware of it. A lot of people behind the scenes were aware of it. But that's the last you'll find, because we're now approaching like 10 years next year when since 2016, and at that point I think people who let's say they were victimized by these YouTubers, they may not want to speak out now because they probably want to leave this all behind.
Yeah.
That's how I see it, and don't think anyone wants to come forward. I was thinking if people did want to come forward, I think they'd be slightly spooked by the whole Ivory stuff, the way that Ivory was kind of lambasted even before the allegations were given any sort of, like thought of like, oh this might be real, or even like any analysis. It was just completely like straight from the hip, shooting. So, I understand that I think people would probably also be kind of a little scared. But I don't know. I feel like if there's anything, there's nothing that we can do as content creators, as people looking into this, as independent sort of journalists, if you want to call us that, even though it's a lame term. There's nothing we can do because at the end of the day, we're not the victims. This is not like, it won't be like our story to tell. So there's nothing that is even saying if there's any victims at all past people like Ivory, people like maybe even the French girl. So it's hard to like, it's such like even trying to prove this beyond and even saying like, oh, well, look at Pyro's response, he lied here, yeah, etc, etc.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're preaching to an audience that won't listen to you. Pyro's audience is really die hard, and I think a lot of them will kind of just ignore a lot of the points made, no matter what points you will make. So I think you're kind of if you want to get like a slam dunk on Pyro, I would not like keep pressing it. I'd probably you have to like again, this is like wishing on something that like isn't going to happen. There's no point holding a grudge like this. Even though you can believe he's done some wrongdoing, sometimes bad people win, you know? And that fucking sucks. That fucking blows. But sometimes that happens, and to keep holding on to it all these years is only going to set you back further. I guarantee Parlo's going to get a lot of shit from this video, and it probably won't do well. I don't know. I no disrespect to him, but some of his videos, his handling of situations, hasn't been particularly good.
Oh no, 100%. I mean, he's been obsessed with Pyro for the past few months. I mean, I think the thing as well going into it, right, is for one, Polo's name is tarnished, right? People won't take it seriously, won't even give it the time of day, right, because of his previous track records, right? You're not going to click on this document or going into it thinking, oh, this is going to be great. You're going to go into it thinking, okay, this is by Parlo, this is going to be shit. Some people won't give it the time of day, even clicking on it to see if it's good or not.
He's already getting shit on the Reddit, I think. People are already giving him like shit on the Reddit. So.
And that's because he's been obsessed for months, and he's been like attacking the Reddit, attacking like fans, responding to everyone, and he's built like a huge reputation up on that Reddit as just some guy that's just absolutely obsessed with Pyro. So he's already like ruined his chance of like even turning like Pyro's core audience, or what he wants to do is like turn him against him. But that's just not going to happen because he's already fucked it.
He doesn't have the evidence. If he doesn't have the evidence, he needs to let it go. This is kind of a recurrent issue with Parlo. He keeps fucking up in situations. Obviously, I made a video and I talked about his situation.
Yeah.
One of the situations in some detail. And I had like a cut line from that. I felt it was too harsh. And I was like, if he keeps this up, he's going to be like the Jalen of tomorrow. Which I felt was a really harsh line, and I eventually cut it. But I feel like he genuinely could be if he keeps doing this shit. Just like even going after certain groups that you just don't need to like go after. I feel like Parlo definitely views himself as like he's a figure of like justice, and it's like,
oh yes, you're like a YouTube vigilante. Yeah,
and it's like you're not really all that, and you don't really have the credentials for that either. I'd be surprised if he says in the stuff there's more interaction, like sexual interactions with minors. I'd be surprised if he ever went to if he's gone to the police with them at all.
Yeah, I would be shocked because I mean his vendetta. He's just got this huge vendetta against Pyro. So like he's completely blindsided by what he should be actually doing or how to format things. He just wants to get an own or like a leg up on Pyro. That's his whole goal. I would be 100% shocked if he did the right things. Yeah.
I will say I have done as much research and inquiring behind the scenes into Pyrocynical as possible, and I can't find stuff that's definitive. I don't think there's anything else out there. And I don't think it's worth for him to keep looking or keep trying to justify at this point.
Well, I mean, at this point, it's about taking pot shots, right? Taking as many jokes as you possibly can. Like, that's the only like way you're ever gonna get like a own up on him. It's not by like trying to drop a big hit piece. It's by making jokes about him, making jokes about the fact that his like girlfriend like hasn't like commissioned the art or whatever, right? Release the art and stuff, right? All that crap, all the lies there, all that stuff. Make jokes there, make jokes about him at his expense instead of trying to dig up stuff that's nearly a decade old at this point and trying to get like a slam dunk on him when it's just not going to happen. It's unrealistic.
And here's the thing: if he believes that Pyro did groom a 16-year-old, like he says or whatever, or that he absolutely believes in that. I understand that he wants to get justice and shit. Like I was obviously in that same position, but I think again, it's like there's not enough evidence, and a lot of the people will obviously turn to, plausible deniability. That happened with the ancient reality stuff, where it was pretty obvious to me that I think he knew about what was going on in the relation. He didn't know I believe the French girl that he didn't know the nature of the relationship and the self harm, but he definitely knew the age gap. That was there. That's what I believe. And the fact that he didn't mention it when he gave a statement previously was that his new statement was different to his old statement. But the thing is, I think if you want to go at Pyro, you need like definitive evidence, and you need something new.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially for his core audience as well. He's got a very strong core audience, right? Who it would take a lot for them to turn against him, which would probably be the goal that you'd want, right? Is for his core audience to kind of wake up.
If he's doing this stuff, getting the audience to turn against him is what you want. If you want to prove to them, hey, this guy's a predator, you shouldn't support him or whatever, because that's what like these videos do. These videos we don't put people in jail that often.
Well, yeah.
The ability to, so that's what you're aiming for. And in this position, I don't think he's going to be really able to do so. It's hard.
I don't think anyone can.
I don't want to be like, oh, there's no point, give up, because he's like an impenetrable pedo or whatever. But it's like, I just don't think he has the evidence. I just don't think anyone has the evidence on Pyrocynical. There's not like he's very good at like arguing his side of things, and I'd say like worming out some situations, and hanging on to like every single like, like doubt that there could be in the situation, and hanging on to that and clinging on to that for dear life. So I mean, it's hard to like it's a weird place to go. Especially with him.
Well,
I don't know.
it's kind of like, at what point do you just stop, right? When you realize, well, where am I going with this? Like, what result am I actually going to get?
Realize that like maybe there isn't, like maybe this guy just isn't like a pedophile. Maybe he's just like a fucking freak who was on Discord doing some shit with a guy who was questionably younger, but nothing like. There's not like a. It's not like there's not like a huge like grooming ring in the commentary community. I'd be incredibly surprised if there was such a thing. It's just that like the way I see it, the Pyro did a lot of weird shit. Now do I believe that he did more stuff behind the scenes? I believe that in my heart of hearts. In my soul, I believe always that there are probably people who did that with who are younger. But I'm not going to go out and be like, this is my accusation. I think Pyrocynical has done this with people who are younger, because at the end of the day, I don't have proof for it. I don't have proof.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
That's just like a suspicion that I have based on evidence that I've seen before and the surrounding stuff after. But I don't have proof for that, and you're going to need proof. And Parlo, I don't think has any of that. All he's going to do in this thing, I think, is just argue and be like, okay, here's the case for why. It's like you can't really be like, make the case for why someone's doing this. If you want to go at him, you probably need like a new case, of like someone else being harmed, and there's like everything's ticked off. Like they know the age, and all the screenshots got the DMs and everything, and the sexual stuff's there. And from there, you can probably like start. You could probably start like doing something like particularly impactful. But I just don't think that I don't know. I don't expect him to really be able to handle it properly. But
no, 100%. See, he gets too emotional, right? I think that's Paulo's thing. He gets too emotional. He runs into things, and then what will eventually happen, right? Is if he gets loads of backlash here, right? When he does drop this, because he will drop it, right? Look, I'm not saying this might be the best document ever seen, right? He might drop like the Mona Lisa of YouTube videos, right? I highly doubt it, but he might. But if he gets loads of backlash, he's just going to have a mental breakdown. That's Parlo. That's what happens.
Yes.
So it's just a cycle, and that's why people don't trust him, right?
It's because he's been on YouTube since age 13. That's because he's been on YouTube since age 13. No one should ever be like that. No one should be a popular figure at age 13 on the internet doing commentary videos. That's how you get like LT Corbis. That's how you get all these people, all these freaks. And he's gone. Obviously, I'll be completely fair to him. He's gotten a lot of shit from groups, and he's seen some stuff that he probably should not have seen. And I feel sympathy for him for that, or sympathy, empathy. I don't know. I was getting confused, but like. There is a point where I feel like you may not be able to handle the internet correctly when you're getting all this stuff and you're like having mental breakdowns. I think it's like some point you gotta like step away. I kind of see Parlo in the same way I say like Fallen Chungus, which is a weird comparison to make, but I kind of like, without all the freaky shit that's happened recently with like the Isabel fart account. This like that's how I kind of see Parlo right now. And there's a pathway he can either just keep chilling, or he can be made into a lolcow who constantly just keep mentally breaking down because people just fuck with him all the time. And that's a choice for him to make. I don't know.
I mean, after him like having a mental breakdown and just completely doxing himself and then deleting his Twitter, I mean, I'm shocked it hasn't happened already. I'm shocked people haven't had that conversation behind the scenes. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. Right?
Maybe they have, but because you said that like. You've said that like you've told him, hey, just let this pyro shit go.
Oh yeah.
Wait for something else to come up, and maybe if that comes up, then yeah. You've told him that. He hasn't listened to you. That's like one of the prime stuff of a lolcow. You give them all the advice in the world, they just don't listen to you, and they just keep going down their path. It happened with Boblax. But I tried to give Boblax the advice and said like, hey, dude. Actually, I didn't do that. Actually, I need to stop rewriting history. I egged him on, but I was like one of the two people that egged him on. No, I was like, there were two people that egged him on, like me and Smaggle. We made comments like, wow, this call very is interesting. And everyone else around him, people who were closer than him, were telling him not to drop that. And he didn't listen to them. He listened to me and fucking Smaggle Daggle, who were Lyric's co-hosts at the time. So it's like, I don't know, you can't stop someone that just keeps driving down the beaten path that they want for themselves. And they have to listen to them. Sometimes you gotta listen to like fucking, the people around you. Sometimes the people around you, a lot of the times the people around you will give you the best advice. I don't know. It seems like he has good people around him. I don't know. I know you guys. You guys seem like level-headed people. It seems like he has good people around him. So I don't know what. I guess if he's not listening to you, then I mean I don't know. If he wants to keep doing that shit, then I don't know. Like at that point, it's like. Just it's your choice then. You on your head be it. Let yourself become a warrior, as like Nick Diori would say.
Well, I mean, there's only so much advice you can give someone, right? And actually try and help. I think that's what a lot of people realize with Parlo, like a long time ago, and that's why people distance themselves. It's why I distanced myself, like with my little contact that I had with him, and why people like Amos or whatever, they're still floating around or whatever. But it's because there's only so much you can tell someone, right? Only so much you can try and help someone, before what's the point? Like, if they're not going to listen, what is genuinely the point?
It is not your job on the internet to tartar-angle someone. You're there to
Exactly.
have fun and make your own content. You don't have
Yeah.
to be like a fucking mental health handler. You should not be obligated to do that shit
Exactly.
because you're friends with someone. You can be friends with someone, but you're not friends aren't therapists.
Yeah.
Friends are not like carers, you know?
Yeah, and especially on the internet, some people are of course closer than others, right? Met up in real life, but when it's someone like Parlo, it's not my job, is it? I'm here to make content and enjoy, right? And that's what people should have that mindset of, right? Is that you come online to fuck about, upload videos, whatever you want to do, right, and then log off.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this is Parlo's business.
Yeah,
It's business first and it's his friendship second. He probably makes a shit ton, but like. I don't know. I'm kind of confused how he's managed to stick around the Roblox community for that long, to be fair, because I'm not going to lie. I think it's very obvious that someone like more competent would probably just like push him off his perch, if that were to happen. But I don't know.
it's because they're retards. It's just all of them are awful.
Damn, that's brutal.
They are awful. But just wrapping up the Pyro stuff, I quickly want to talk about Baited. And about Colossal was crazy. For maybe people that have no idea of like what happened there, in reference to Pyro and everything that like what happened last year, would you just like to give like a quick rundown of what all that was about?
Okay, so basically, what happened is that back in 2016, Pyrocynical dated a French girl who was 14 years old. He was 18. The relationship lasted for about 2 weeks, and the relationship was purely romantic, nothing sexual in it. But Pyro, that information went to Keemstar. It was garbled through a bunch of people, which is why the ages kept varying. Like his sources were telling him different shit. So he went on and he accused Pyrocynical of being a pedo, and obviously the age was lowering different times. And Pyro combated the allegations. We later found out that the French girl, the relationship with them was true. That was revealed in around 2021 through an interview. And we also found out that after Pyro's relationship, she had dated one of Pyro's friends called Ancient Reality, who was a editor in the scene, in the commentary scene, in the MLG scene. And he was around 21. She was around 15. Was it 21? Yeah, he was around 21, 22, and she was around 14, 15 years old. So, and it's also I should also add, it's disputed whether she was 14 or 15 during a relationship with Pyro, because I think the thing is like she says she was 14 and he says she was 15. So I imagine he's accusing her of like lying about her age or something. I'm not too sure. So from that, basically, the relationship with Ancient Reality and the French girl, there was a lot of abuse, a lot of self-harm. They met up in real life. There was a lot of horrific stuff. And basically, that relationship kind of just like remained under wraps, I guess, until people started looking into it. They started interviewing the French girl, and eventually, I made a video putting out the entire story in 2023. And so now, if we're thinking Pyro related, the entire thing with that is whether Pyro knew about the French girl and her relationship with Ancient Reality. She says in the interview that he knew about her relationship. Now, he knew about her relationship and the age gap, but he didn't know about the he didn't know about the self-harm and stuff. He didn't know about the gritty details of what was going on. But I think knowing an age gap like that is bad enough, I think. So from there I flip forward to around 2024 and they're doing Baited again because of the imallexx stuff. And they discuss the Pyro stuff. Keemstar says it was proven that the whole thing happened. A lot of the Baited people are confused about what was going on, which I mean, I felt I made it kind of clear in my video, but again, it's fine, it's whatever. I think obviously it was like, I think they were arguing, just because Keemstar got it wrong in that thing, and he was like, oh, they all agreed he was 17, and he was like, he was 18 in that's for sure. Like, we know that from all dates and whatever. Yeah. I guess the debate from there, Keemstar instantly lost the moment. He was like, I called him a pedo because I called him like a pedo colloquial. It was like the slang word of pedo, and it's like completely gone. And then I think from there, I think I was in Nick's chat and I was fighting with Colossal over just the details of whether Pyro knew. and I don't know. We kept going back and forth on different details, and eventually it was like, well, I don't know. I think Pyro would be easy. If Pyro responds to this, is an easy W. And at that point, I was like, I'm literally just not going to keep responding to this shit because it's like, I don't know.
No point. Literally no point.
If I keep responding, I would then implicitly keep giving him more like points to use against me in any way. Like not points to use against me, but like more arguments that he can try and pick apart. So, I don't know. From there, I was just kind of sat back from there, and over time, like I said before, I think I generally just I kept looking into the pirate stuff, but again, apart from Salel, I didn't really find much. And whilst my suspicions from like stuff I've heard, definitely makes me think there's probably stuff out there. I don't think I I don't think I could find it because I think some stuff is just lost to time. You gotta remember, like, these are people who can no longer be really contacted. And these are like their logs are Skype logs. There's no way you're getting that. There's no way you're getting that. Because it's how they were archived in the first place. Not only that, but it was like a rule in the commentary community that you couldn't leak DMs. It was like it's called the golden rule or whatever it is. But it was like an implicit rule where it's like if you leak DMs, you're like one of the worst people. So a lot of people didn't take screenshots of that stuff. There's barely any proof of that would come out there, and that's kind of why I gave up on it. Because even if there are so many people accusing him, it's whether they have the proof that counts. And I doubt they would.
Yeah,
shame. It's a real shame.
I remember when like that beta episode came out, because it was in the height of the imallexx stuff, so I was kind of, I was busy with like doing Alex stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember like during that week when that beta episode dropped, there was like lots of like rumors and stuff flying about like Pyro's meant to respond on like the baited podcast or whatever. There was going to be loads of other stuff, right? And then it kind of just shut up really quickly. Like it was genuine. Like I can't remember what day it was, whatever. But like one night, like everyone's talking about it, everyone's chatting about it, like very thing. Next day, gone. It was like genuinely like an overnight thing. It just completely went away. And I mean, again, I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier, right? There's only so much you can do with the Pyro stuff, right? There's only so much you can say about it, so only so much you can dig back into it, try and look for other things, right? Before, people just stop talking about it. There just isn't many routes you can go with it, bar, like Colossals, like going at you in like a live stream chat, or like what they've said on Baited. Because realistically, Parlo isn't gonna say anything, right? Because it would genuinely probably be more harm to him if he responded. Even let's say if he managed to shut down everything, right?
When to respond, he knows when to respond.
Exactly.
You see, as soon as Tom's document came out, he was like, that was the opportunity because the document was kind of ass. So that was like that. Like, he knows when exactly to respond, when exactly to keep it to Reddit and stuff. Again, I mean, if there are victims of him out there, people claim that he fucking groomed them or whatever, or exposed them to porn at a young age or whatever, obviously they should come out about it. But I don't see it happening that much, and that's why it doesn't like stay that much in my mind, because I think people who, if they did want to do that, they'd be like intimidated by Pyro's fan base, which is not really Pyro's fault, I'd say, because its fan base doesn't have that much control over it. But I mean, it's a fact regardless, and it's just over the fact that they probably don't have the evidence that you would need for that, and that fucking blows. But I mean, yeah, I would probably, again, it's also like you should probably just take it to the police, not the YouTubers, if you have that, and then probably, I mean, even that, I think Alice is like that stuff with the imallexx stuff with his ex-girlfriend, the way she handled it was like probably like near perfect, because she was one of the only people to actually go to the police with that stuff.
And I mean, people still tried discrediting her, didn't they? Because of Alex.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that still believe like the whole relationship's like both sides toxic, which is exactly what Alex wants. If you read that entire 750-page document, it is very much not the case. And the only reason like people aren't looking into it is because Alice made it 750 fucking pages.
Which was my one critique about that, was that it's so long, and that it should have been more it should have been better categories, right? Should have been easier to like sift through, right? Of course, I get why she did it in chronological order, right?
Even a long video would be fine, I think.
Timestamps as well, be great.
And Alex's video was like fucking
2 hours nearly. It was untimestamped at first. It wasn't until like I'd literally finished watching it maybe like twice or whatever going through it that he timestamped the fucker. He just didn't have it timestamped.
I remember that because I was listening to it on the day it released. I had like a fever at the time. I was just listening to it. I was like, "What the hell's going on?" Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but like, if you like, here's the thing. It's like, how is anyone who's like not like completely locked into the situation meant to consume that document when the only coverage here is like either reading through like fucking like a 750-page document or watching like Nick's coverage. And how long
yeah,
is Nick's coverage right now?
hours,
Here's like
like
a full
hours.
playlist.
Yeah, it's
Two
tens of hours worth of shit.
I'm let me I mean at least this has to be like 12 hours or something like that. It's crazy.
And that's
So
like the
that's the
full
only thing
thing,
I wish. That's the only thing I wish it was made into a video or something. That's something that's like easily more consumable and like more provable at least. I don't know, but it's also like I don't expect. It's like in fairness, like Alice isn't like a YouTube content creator like we are. Like she wouldn't be able to like
Yeah.
format it like that as well. She's like a I think I don't even know like she's like a TikToker,
Yeah,
OnlyFans
TikToker and
person,
like Twitch streamer or whatever,
Twitch streamer.
type
Yeah,
stuff.
so that's the thing. It's a difficulty. Maybe if she went to someone else, I was like, hey, I kind of need to. Maybe I went to Boblax and was like, hey, can you do an
Yeah.
audiobook of my whole document? Yeah.
And I mean, I'm glad she did drop that response because I remember when I spoke to her, she said that she had more stuff and that she was now like willing to drop stuff. So I'm glad that she did it then because it was like a. If you watch the imallexx response and then maybe watch someone's coverage or just read a little bit, you can see how much he lies, right? Manipulates.
It's
I mean,
so
even
wormy. It's
yeah,
so
so wormy.
fucking slimy. I was considering making a full video on it. But like, just like, I don't think even I was talking to someone. I didn't even realize that like the whole document he made was like when he made the point, it was like, she lied about not knowing I had no, she lied about like my BPD. I actually have BPD, and the diagnosis is July, which is like months after they broke up and months after she
Yeah.
even came out. It's so fucking slimy. He just flashes up the same few screenshots again and again.
Yep.
It's like so fucking annoying.
I mean, even down to the thing with me, he like manipulated what I said in the lyrics live stream in reference to Alice, because I said that like she hadn't like spoke out about it before making the police report, and I meant more about saying his name, doing a document, and it was very clear what I meant because like about maybe like a minute before, like me and lyrics were both going over like my coverage of the situation on Twitter because I was the one that broke the TikTok stuff and like covered that first, and got the ball rolling there. And Alex had like maliciously clipped it to frame me as like a liar, and then it also did that with me and Inaba when he tried claiming that Inaba had like sent a bunch of stuff, like personal private information about Alex to me when it just didn't happen. And it's so easily disprovable, but he thinks he can get away with it because he's got a huge ego. I mean, it's what he's doing now as well in terms of trying to slither away from Alice's document. So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that guy is. It's not going well for him either way because I think.
Well, no.
The thing is, his reputation was already done from the minute that Brick clip came out. It's over. It's
so
over.
good.
Yeah. The only thing, his aim now was probably not to like. He's probably had some of the most favorable outcome in that. Obviously, his views were never going to return, but like, his aim was not to prove himself innocent. His aim was to bring himself up and bring Alice down. That's it.
Yeah.
And he seems to have succeeded at that at some point.
And I mean, he's still got his really like obsessive fans. I mean, I'm looking at his Alex Elmsley channel, which was always like, I mean, towards the end when Alice exposed him, was his more popular channel, right? It was the channel which was growing the quickest, getting the most views. His last video dropped nearly 24 hours ago. It was premiered. Everyone in the chat talking about bricks because he'd blocked the word brick. And like banned me from his chat, so everyone started spamming bricks or whatever. The video has 7,000 views in 23 hours.
Oh god.
He's not doing good.
The word brick? That's funny.
Yeah, he banned the word brick.
He's banned the word brick, but not like the emoji brick or like bricks.
Yeah, the word bricks isn't banned, so you can spam that, but the word brick is, which is really funny.
Lol.
But it's just he's such a weasel. I could talk about him all day. I think that's because I was like at the beginning of the situation. And that was a complete accident. I was in call with Spinling and Meme Frog scrolling on TikTok. Accidentally stumbled upon like a search tag that says like imallexx allegations. And you're on TikTok, it's always like always a search tag for like any name, right? Any like person, right? You usually like you can find like KSI allegations, and there's nothing there when you click on it. I just happened to click on it, and it had all Alice's TikTok stuff. But like, I mean, Alex is just obsessed because I remember when I dropped my first tweet, he accidentally followed me on Twitter and then unfollowed me. So he's obsessed.
Oh my god!
Day one, bro. So funny. Always watching. But But getting a little bit back on track in terms of topics, like I said, I think it was just before the episode, or just when we started, about Elucid.
Yeah,
because that's all happened since. And you're probably sick of talking about it, right? So like, we'll make this quick, right? Because like I think Elucid's probably the most covered topic you might have done in terms of like spoken about, right? I think you did 2 videos, right? You did one video and then the followed up one.
I mean, if we're talking videos that I've done, Mirth is probably the biggest.
Yeah.
And after that, maybe Elucid. I don't know. I haven't spoken about Elucid that much on podcasts, to be fair. I think a lot of people are interested in the FNF stuff. But he's definitely up there, absolutely. Especially recently, I think.
Well, yeah, because of his comeback. I actually completely forgot about that until you just mentioned about recently.
Yeah.
Because that comeback, and I mean, I've had people come into my DMs that are claiming to be from like the past situation, saying they can prove his innocence, and I'll ask for evidence, and they just send me like 3-minute voice messages, like in like some guy. I think it was the guy I sent you like a few months ago, like nearly a year ago now. He had another account, and he just sent me a long 3-minute voice message. He's in a mall somewhere. Saying that he's innocent, he's been framed. I was like, all right.
Oh god,
That's
there's
great.
like those fucking mentalists at the mall, just like screaming about Luke's innocent. That's so funny. I don't know.
But how did that all happen?
Crazy.
Like, look, that video, right? Because that really took, like, I know, really blew up in terms of like anything small commentary, or like smaller commentary type related. That did really well.
It's because John was affiliated to it in the thumbnail, at least. He probably, and maybe it could be some stuff from the little darky stuff. Again, I don't know. I'm not that sure. All I know is it blew up and it was a good video. I don't. It's hard to say how it come across, but I always wanted to make a video looking into it. And I think I just kind of got the opportunity and started looking into it. And I was like, this is kind of interesting to see what's going on. And it wasn't until I think I talked to John, one of the last interactions John had in the community. I talked to him and we had a really good conversation about this entire thing. And he was like, "Oh, my whole logic with the iPhone was wrong," and I was like struggling to understand some part of it. And he explained that to me, and I was like, "Okay, I get it." And then I guess when the video came out, he just completely left. I guess I don't know, because he honestly got railed in the comments for that one, and I kind of get it. Because looking at that as a viewer, you'd be like, "Holy shit, this guy is so arrogant!" Only for this to be like so obvious. But I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, that video as well kind of put you not like in a niche, right? But it got you like a little like gold mine of like, for whatever reason, your videos on that type of smaller stuff, smaller commentators, they do pretty well. People are pretty interested in them.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Like for Silly Rally, people like that, for example, just get like bang views.
All
I guess
that remains.
Like, concepts or remains as well. Yeah, I don't know. It might just be my intrigue in them because I probably can do like a video on any small shitter, like for no reason. It'd have to be a topic I'm interested in, and especially with these people, I was like previously friends with all the people. Like Silly Rally, Elucid, and Remains. So I guess it's more of a different perspective from me.
Well, no, I mean, those videos I think are always garner more traction, right? Because the majority of the people watching, right, especially when they start like doing well, have no idea who these people are, right? And it's always interesting to have like a little insight into like a snippet of something you have no idea about, right? Especially when it comes to someone as controversial as Elucid or The Remains, right? All the stuff that happened. I think it's more intriguing than like a mainstream topic, right? A topic that's been covered a lot. Like, I mean, even something like In Comparison Tipster. I think a drama that you have no idea about that is more intriguing. It just comes across better because you have no idea what you're getting into.
YouTube has changed. It used to be all about sub count, and the culture has changed. Where it's like if your sub count was like your dick, it was like here's my cock size. Like look at it right here. Things have changed though. People care about stories more than they care about sub counts. People want to hear more about that stuff, and so a small YouTuber story will be probably more interesting than like, oh, here's the biggest YouTuber, and this is why this person's bad. It's new and it'll be interesting to them. And that's probably why they're more drawn to it. They like the concepts in the titles and stuff, and they like to see that kind of shit.
Well, I think that's good, right?
I think that's good. I think that's good because it brings more like an opportunity to tell stories to and make a more creative way to people. So I mean, I'm not complaining at all.
Because I mean, it gets boring like talking about the same. I mean, I've got a slop channel, right, with Stop Meal, and I talk about the same old people all the time, right? Your KSIs, your Dreams, 10 minutes, whatever. I have fun doing that. Don't get me wrong. But I think as a viewer, I think it's always more interesting to watch something that you have no idea about than something you always hear about, right? You can watch a video on like KSI, whoever, any day of the week, but you see someone that's like, okay, like commentaries unknown pedophile or FNAF's like unknown da 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 da. It sounds way better, that like, and more appealing than a video about like, you know, Dream. So it's something you've heard a lot about, right? You know the ins and outs, but you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. And I think it works the same as like, you know, a mystery box. You have no idea what you're going to get into, but it's just thrilling to like, you know, dive in and see what's possibly in there. And I think that's the appeal with those type of videos.
Certainly, a lot of that new lolcow culture has made like unknown people on TikTok incredibly famous for the wrong reasons. So that plays a part as well. So people definitely, I think that's good as well. I think it's a good change that people don't care about sub counts as much anymore. Even though sub counts are like deceptive now, I think, because like you could, I think you know this as much as I'll say, but like you, a YouTuber with 100K is not. It doesn't feel like a YouTuber with 100K used to be back then. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all about like different things. It's more about like I think streamers have more of an impact than like video essay people now.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think even to like some degree, like people on like commentary YouTubers on Twitter, slop tubers, all them people, again have way more of an impact now than, you know, they did maybe last year or the year before, right? But because I think short form content, you know, really heavily impacted the way that's looked at, right? Yeah. Because it's the exact same with like TikTok and Instagram now. Is realistically the number doesn't mean anything. It's about what that content creator is providing, or what they're talking about, or what that story is providing, right? And you can build so many connections from that way now. And you're not so limited by your sub count. It's more what you're like, talking about, you know.
Shorts plays a big part of it because you can easily clip a streamer moment or whatever because it'd just be funny or just an insult. It's more personality based. With a video essay, the experience is watching it the entire way through. You can't clip a certain part of a video essay. So it's interesting to see how far they will evolve. Especially considering there's a new thing where it's like there's a new change to YouTube where it's like they'll give you more ads based on if the ad position is a good one. Like if it's a good, like if it's like a natural break in the video.
Which is so bizarre. It's bizarre and really interesting though.
It's gonna definitely implore more people to put breaks in the videos rather than like having like constantly jingling keys, like a rapid all the time, or just like slap it in. I'll see. I mean, it is interesting to see how it will work, and I think people will definitely. I think this will have a decently big change in how, you know, people, you know, do fucking videos, because I think they'll have to you'll have to put like natural breaks in the videos, like fade to black, whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be like big changes probably coming soon. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see how like general commentary, because I thought like video essays, right? It's pretty easy to do that, right? Pretty easy to implement that. I mean, even you, when you have your like members segment, right? You have that like, what was it, like that 10-20 second segment, like right in the middle of the video, where that's perfect to like slap an ad if you wanted to. Where like I think, you know, you're people that are trying to like emulate that like really high stimulated like Mr. Beast type commentary content now. Where, you know, nothing ever stops, constantly like going or whatever. I think it's going to be really interesting how they try and format their videos now. It might create like a little bit of a new niche.
It's absolutely going to change from that. And it might be interesting to see how streamers do it, because even though streamers get a lot of money from donos, ad revenue on like uploads will be interesting to see, because they'll probably have to, because usually like let YouTube run its own thing, where it's like YouTube when they're doing like monetization stuff. I did this recently with my video I'm working on. They like automatically put it in. Although the issue that I had is that they would put like duplicates, so they'd have like two ads one after the other.
Yeah.
Which I thought was dumb, because I was like, okay, there's no need. There's literally like no need for that, because I'm like literally, why would you put like stack these ads on top of each other all the time?
Yeah.
Completely cancer. So it'd be interesting. It would certainly be interesting to see how this develops. I think this is a big change. I think this is a big change, and I don't think people realize it. But who knows?
I would argue. Well, I mean, I think it's probably one of the biggest changes since short form, since like they introduced shorts, which was a huge game changer, right? I mean,
yeah,
like, probably better than anyone, right? How big of a game changer shorts was. Like this is a huge game changer. Like I've seen quite a few like I mean bigger content creators at least complain about it on Twitter. Probably mainly from like the UK scene. I've seen like quite a few people like Memulus and all them type of people complaining about it. But I mean, it's just interesting. You just kind of have to adapt and evolve, right?
Absolutely.
you know, and I mean, I think that's, you know, what I was saying about shorts like 2 years ago. Is, you know, you kind of have to adapt, see how it works, right? See if that's for you or if that isn't for you. You know, try and implement it, try and like work around it, try and like, you know, do whatever you can, right? Do the best that you can. There's no point fighting a change like this, right? Like it's not going to be for everyone, right? And some people are not going to like it. Exactly like YouTube Shorts, right? Not everyone likes YouTube Shorts, but it's probably here to stay for now. You know, at least for like I would say a good year, right? Unless like it really gets like a lot of traction in the end and a lot of people hate it.
Yeah,
yeah. But you know, I can't see YouTube rushing to remove it.
No, absolutely, it makes them money, which is their main important thing. So
exactly, but no, it's going to be like you know, a unique experience. I'm hoping as well. It kind of means that people are going to be focusing a lot more on what goes into their videos, right? Because you're going to be having to pay more attention to where you're putting like breaks and stuff. You know, really focusing on that piece of content, which would be interesting. I think it will kind of weed out a lot of that Mr. Beast type content.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is, you know, like just ADHD brain, you know, we do each other, which is great.
Fuck all that shit. Keep that shit to shorts or whatever. I do not want to see that. I completely was like, dude, I need to like sometimes like, dude, I just need to relax for a bit and chill out. And I'm doing watching a video. I don't need like to be peppered with like all this knowledge.
Well, like, well, like anytime I watch like a commentary video now, I always prefer when it's just a guy sitting there chatting. A guy, you know, talking, you know, put maybe a few clips now and again or whatever, but like not having to like be like this really hyper edited content, this hyper processed stuff, where, you know, it feels more unique and genuine, like, you know, more of that content from like that 2018, 2019 time, which I'm glad that people are going back to now.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do art commentary content. The people in the art commentary, literally like, not the commentary, but the community, they'll put their videos on in the background whilst they listen to art. How are you gonna like put it on in the background when you got like a Mr. Beast video being like, hey guys, we're gonna do all this stuff today. We're gonna fucking throw this car down a ravine and see what happens. It's like they don't want to be sometimes people don't want to be like constantly jingling the keys like they were little fucking babies. We want to have like something to chill, and I think there's going to be the pendulum's going to swing back, especially with this new change, especially just with the whole idea of it. And I also think like politically, I think more right wing people are intense to more like entertaining content, whilst left wing people are more like analytical. I'd say. So I'll probably get a lot more like video essays. I think there might even be like a sort of a resurgence of BreadTube. I wouldn't be surprised if that came back to some extent in a couple of years.
I'm all here for it, man. As a guy that has a channel literally called Stop Me All, you know, I'm here for it, bro. More the merrier, man. And it's great because, you know, I've kind of done like, not in like an ego way, just like I've tried everything, right? Like in terms of content and what to make and stuff. And I can 100% say the most time I've ever enjoyed YouTube is just sitting there and genuinely just making, like, some people will call it slop, right? But like, you know, that daily commentary type stuff. Like, of course, like when I say daily commentary, I don't mean like, you know, what that's become like in terms of like, you know, not research, right? Not like bothering. That doesn't really care about the quality or whatever. You know, that more relaxed, like, you know, there's a bit of gameplay there, but I'm reading a document, I'm going over a video, I'm chilling, I'm making jokes, right? It's more down to earth. You may even subscribe because of my personality, maybe. And I'm having so much fun with it.
I've done a few of those videos before. I mean, again, it's like whatever you want to, like, whatever you like doing, you can do that. Like, I could never do, and the thing is, like, I could never do your slop stuff of like a video like every single day or whatever it is. Being like, okay, here's the new fucking them using that, because I don't think I'd ever be able to upload daily. I tried and I was like, holy fuck, this is just like fucking. This is too much. I can't do this shit because it was just too much. Like, oh, I gotta wake up and do this stuff. That's why I have a respect for like, at least I respect for the YouTubers who like put out daily videos and like people like, I don't know. It's not like a complete. A lot of people have this like whole like war on slop. That was a big thing. Yeah, and I thought that was dumb because the thing is, you can talk about YouTubers always selling out and whatever. You can be like, oh, these YouTubers keep doing this shit. The thing is that people don't realize, and these people are usually smaller YouTubers who haven't got to this position yet, but like. This isn't like an office job. You don't have a very long time on this platform. I will be here for like max 10 years more, until I decide to stop making content or like, and like move on to another part of my life. This isn't an office job. This is like, get in, make your money, get out. That's what this is.
Exactly, right? Get your accolades.
Yeah.
like get your achievements, and that's where I've kind of compartmentalized everything, right? Is that my goal is, but I wanted to get a YouTube play button. That was always my goal, right? YouTube Shorts came about. That was a great way for me to do it. I enjoyed doing that. I know, believe it or not, right? Like it's absolute slop, but I didn't mind doing them.
Yeah.
I did that, and now I'm focusing on something else because in terms of like a social media platform, there's like a very limited time, right? Unless you're one of these bigger content creators or someone that can adapt. Look at someone like Keemstar, right, who's been around forever or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because
And he's
it's more like
already
a
made his
business
money.
venture.
He's
Exactly.
already made his money by now. He's already set. His house is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
doing like a video about his house. It's crazy. But like I think people always kind of look at the top and just think, oh, I can be PewDiePie, I can be Markiplier, I can be like all these big people. I can stay here for like a fair few years and just keep doing this forever and ever. And it's like, no, you can't really. It's not going to take you that far because eventually you're always going to fall behind. The new generation's always going to overtake the older one, and so on and so forth. Eventually, us Gen Z are going to get outpaced.
Yeah.
And that's like you're gonna get left behind sometime, and that's completely fine with YouTube because it's like a natural thing. You're never gonna build a legacy. You're never gonna be a celebrity on YouTube unless you're like, and you strive for it and you're insanely popular.
Exactly.
You're probably not gonna be a celebrity if you're like on YouTube complaining about slop. I gotta tell you.
Yeah,
People don't like the standards of content. I think there's a certain displeasure with that, but to then for there to be such a movement about it and be like, oh, the war on slop and everything, and all, just talking about all this shit, it's like,
yeah.
I get where they're coming from, but I don't like. There is no visceral hatred for me towards slop or anything. I see it as people come in here to get their bag. And I can't hate that. I don't like the content, but I can't hate that because that's logically what they're doing. I think a lot of this slop criticism will come from younger people who will see this and be like, I'm talking like I'm 35. I'm 19.
Yeah.
But I've been around on this platform for like since I was 12, like 7 years doing YouTube and shit. I've seen a lot of stuff go by, and a lot of people you just don't remember who they are now. Like YouTubers who were big back then will never be. You probably never remember me in about 5 years unless if I stop making content now, you would forget me in like 3 years. That's just the reality of it because the internet moves fast. The internet moves insanely fast. So that's the thing with the whole slop thing. There's never the one where I was like, I never wanted to join in on it because I didn't really think it was a war worth fighting for against people who just like see YouTube as a job, because YouTube is a business now. That's basically it. It's no longer there's no this idea that's like it's always going to be the past. It's always going to be like 2012 where like all these people are just making fun videos. It's never going to be like that. Just like commentary YouTube needs to had to let go that like it's never going to be 2016 again.
It's not going to be Leaf era, right? Yeah.
You gotta make the next era. You gotta make. I mean, you gotta like try and make the fucking it's like people don't want to be talking about 2016 in the future. They want to be talking about the year you made it, the year you were doing all this stuff.
Exactly.
Sorry, I went on for a rant there, but
no. I get it, man. Like I mean, my whole issue with like that slop movement was I think Larry summed it up best in his video. Was it isn't that actual like slop video itself, right? Is that like sitting there talking about the video like easy to make content? It's about the fact that like certain slop tubers get misinfo, right? And that was like my big thing. Like that was my big issue, but I think it got to a point where everyone was just calling everything slop. So you got your slop video essays take 20 hours to make, but that's slop now because it follows that certain thing. Yeah, it's everything slop.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, well, what's the point of caring, right? There's like, as long as you're happy making the content and you put whatever you want into it, and you're happy with that piece of like content you're putting out there, who cares if you're calling it slop? Like, it's just like an unnecessary label. It's exactly the same label as daily like commentary stuff, or you're a daily commentator. What does that even mean? Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's just kind of a word now that people kind of throw about.
Again, people believe they'll build a legacy on this platform. They need to let that go. People like Boblax are going to be like, I'm going to be a celebrity. I'm going to be selling plushies of me. That's not going to happen. There's not
He's sitting in his car,
Sitting in his Tesla. No, there's not. It's not going to happen. You need to let that go. You need to be like, oh, this is the reason that I'm here is because I find it fun. And that's it. I find it fun. I find it interesting. And I would rather do this than like a dead-end 9-to-5 job. That's how you need to view this. You need to be like, this is a better option. But don't be like, oh, like these sort of like ideas of grandeur, because I obviously I think it's good that people have like dreams. Like I'm not gonna be like, if you want to dream to be that sure and you want to go for it, absolutely. But I think there are people who are holding on to that belief for way too long. And at some point, you got to accept it. Sometimes you got to kill off your dreams. That's just going to happen.
Yeah, and just do what you want to do. Like, I mean, that's kind of my thing now. Is I want to do this podcast, I'll do it right whenever I want to. There's no one like telling me I have to do it or whatever. I want to make that type of slop content, the YouTube Shorts. Well, why do I care if someone else doesn't like what I'm doing in terms of content, right? As long as I know I'm not getting anything wrong with like actual serious things like misinformation and other stuff. Why should I care? Like in terms of like my content that I'm making, as long as I'm happy with the product that I'm putting out there, I just don't see an issue. I think people are like hyper focused on other people's content when like they're just nitpicking. It comes down to a lot of nitpicking. Like I get the ideals of what people are complaining about with slop and how it started, right? So the misinformation, all that type of stuff, trying to be the first to a topic, and then getting a bunch of things wrong. But I think that kind of just led into calling everything slop, everything that looks the same. So right, okay, you're a slop like Sunny V2 creator, right? You make video essays, so you've got to be slop. You make like daily commentary, slop, short slop, So yeah, I do find people complaining about slop really funny. I mean, it's why I call the channel Slop Meal, because it's just funny. The word means nothing. It just,
literally.
No, it doesn't exist. But no,
The way I see YouTube is like this is a period of my life, and at some point I will move on and do something else completely different, and I will not be on the internet forever. And there'll be a maybe after I go, there'll be a video. Hopefully, there'll be a video being like, "What happened to Toastify?" And they'll do a commentator making like a 6-minute video, being like, "Well, Toastify left on this day, and he actually did this kind of stuff," which I like it because I do those videos. You can see a couple of mine there. It's just been creating creators that I liked. But like. Yeah, I mean, well, again, if you shouldn't probably hang on to those delusions of grandeur because they will probably lead to some sort of weird shit. It's much better to go out like in a peaceful way rather than go out like a lolcow, or be forced out, so to say. By the way, your thing on Discord has got like a yellow flashing thing. Oh, you two may be having trouble connecting to the call. Oops. Uh oh. Well, I don't know if this is a recording, but hello, guys. It's me, the new host of the TrashTalk Toastify. Today we're going to be talking about... well, we're already talking about stuff, actually. We've already been yapping about fucking YouTube and all these abstract topics. I actually believed I would get questioned on other stuff. But it's not the expectation. Hi, guys. It's me. I'm the new host of TrashTalk because I'm recording now, and Discord crashed, and the fucking thing isn't working.
It's actually awful. Like, okay, so middle of a conversation, Discord it completely goes down. It completely goes down. Now the bot's gone completely down because Discord's fucked. Thank God we've got the audio, right? It's the one time I haven't got a backup recording because it's like, well, nothing's gonna go wrong. Discord isn't gonna go down, is it? It's just not gonna happen in the middle of my fucking podcast.
Down, and then it went.
It's not gonna happen. See, this is what happens there. I haven't recorded a podcast for like 2 months, so I'm kind of like lowering my standard a bit.
This is the first time you're recording in 2 months, and you're like, oh fuck, this is what happened.
TrashTalk. This is the first recording back. The first recording back for TrashTalk.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were literally just in the middle of a conversation, just talking about other stuff, and we had to reconnect and just message people, being like, "Holy fuck, Discord's down." And I guess within that time, I discovered that apparently people want me to handle the new Parlo situation or whatever. If he's got something new, I'm sure that's interesting, and I'd actually be leaping at the opportunity to take a look into that. But I think from what I'm seeing, he has nothing new. And I think he's going to be pursuing the same arguments that I've made. And again, he's not going to get... I appreciate that he's backing the arguments that I've made, and I think we align on the same views. But I think there's no point of doing this because it's going to be the same arguments over and over again. And he's going to make the same arguments in defense. And there's no, there's like an impasse. You can't get past any of that stuff. So I would rather just wait.
Yeah, and how Parlo will present it as well, right? And how he will go about it, right? Like his document, whatever. Like I've got to see it when he chose me. But I don't know for certain. But the way he goes about situations, the way he has gone about the Pyro stuff, he hasn't gone about it in the right way, right?
Dude,
he's
this guy
arguing
can't do
with everyone,
properly. What makes me think like having me faith?
I got sent something like on Reddit. Apparently, he's like got a Reddit account and he's just arguing with everyone on like Pyro's Discord server done against him.
I'm rescinding my cautionary comments from earlier. Parlo is a lolcow. I'm sorry. There's no way this guy keeps doing all this shit and keeps responding to people and keeps spurging out. This guy's gonna be like the next Jalen of tomorrow if he doesn't fix his fucking act. I get he's under a lot of shit and he gets spammed by like all these people, all these groups. It's like, holy shit, like just the internet clearly isn't good for you, or whatever. Because like, I don't even know what you're doing.
What did you see? I don't know. You might not, but like a few weeks ago, like maybe 2 weeks now, he his dad, right? His dad's like a piece of shit or whatever.
I saw his
Yeah,
dad terminated his channel, or whatever, or deleted it.
yeah. Yeah, deleted his channel or whatever, like, hid it for, like, a few hours and was, like, blackmailing him, and the guy just had another mental breakdown. And this is, like, coming off the back of, like, a few months ago of doxing himself publicly and just leaking all his information on his
This guy
Twitter.
is such a car crash, and he needs to leave before it starts. I mean, it already probably is impacting his real life, but he needs to leave before this gets even worse. And then, like, I don't know, he does something crazy, and then people start hunting him down and for everything, because it's easy to do that if he's got all this information out. I'm confused because how old is he now? He's like a year younger than me, right? He's 18.
18 or 19, I think, around there. Yeah.
Okay, I don't mean to be like expecting a lot from him because obviously I think expectations would be high. But like if he's got the money, he should be in his own house by now. Maybe I'm overestimating the British housing market, but I think if I was 18, I would buy my own house and if I had the money to buy my own house, I'd be perfectly comfortable doing so, and still be able to like work at a decent rate and like still handling myself. Why is he still? If he's a channel that's way bigger than me and makes way more money than me, I know that. So why does he not have his own house or even his own control over his? Maybe it's like a Cyrus situation where he doesn't have the control over his own money, but like. That's just so weird. I don't know.
Like it's so bizarre because like I get like before like I know a lot of people. I mean even I did, right, where like for the first bit like my parents' bank account and stuff was all linked to my channel, right, so I could do it that way, right. It was easier to do it that way. But like when you're like what, he's not 19, I think now. You know, why isn't this a thing that you've sorted out, right? You've logged your own parents out of your channel, right? I mean, even then, I never had my parents logged into my channel, right? Because that's my channel.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it'd be bizarre. I don't know, and especially with how like Parlo's dad actually is. Surely, you know, he would have taken precautions against him from doing that.
He needs to fix up, man. He needs to fix up because he's gonna be like Jalen. He's gonna blow all his money on fucking stupid shit. Like Robux or something, or fucking Funko Pops. I don't know.
He's gonna be a Boblax, man. He's gonna be in his Tesla.
Dark shit for him. If I was him right now, I think he's going. I think if I'm Parlo right now, I'm looking at myself. I'm being like, okay, this is clearly my passion. I love this, but the issue is that this is causing way too much mental breakdowns. I'm putting way too much online. I need to save my money and get out of here. Again, this links back to the whole thing where it's like you only have a brief time on the internet and you can't really make a legacy. But like, if I'm him right now, I need to think like I need to just fucking look at this stuff right now, and I need to like cobble what I have and move. And I don't know if he needs to go to college or something. I feel he needs to go to college and learn a trade. He should have a backup plan. How you got 500k subscribers? You don't have a backup plan.
Well, see, that's always my thing, right? Is that like I can see myself always like to a certain extent, right, posting online, right, even if it's not like a job, right? Because you've always got to have a backup plan. You've always got to have that there. I think the one sensible thing that Mutahar did was that he had a job and his YouTube.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what you want to do, regardless of how well your YouTube channel's doing, because you could fall off tomorrow. You could be doing great one day and then the next day gone, right? Because that's how like temperamental the internet and social media is. Always good to have a backup plan. Always good to be employed somewhere else where you know you've got a stable job. You've got maybe like not a 9 to 5, right? But you've got a part-time job on the side, which you know if your YouTube channel dies or fell off, or you had to leave tomorrow, you could be comfortable in your position and where you're at.
You gotta start thinking about life.
These people don't think ahead. Yeah, these people don't think ahead. So.
Christ. Well, I guess we'll wrap up the podcast from there, unless you want to say anything else. I mean, I could talk about anything for ages, but I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Well, no, I mean, the only other thing that I was gonna like quickly mention briefly, because I think I might get like absolutely touched if I don't, is like Doc on the radio. But like, I've got no questions about it because I think it's been gone over so much, and this was my thing to like Lio in the chat, like. His private thing, and like all those people that are talking about it. I just don't know what were you meant to go over at this point. I've got no questions to you about that. I've
fucking raked over the coals for that. I mean, yeah,
exactly.
I made my people. If people haven't seen my response, I basically said that yeah, I think the situation you can say that it was mishandled. I think I would have preferred to put it out earlier. I think that's probably a better move. But also, I think people who are saying that I swept for Doc in any way, or that had the intention to sweep for Doc, is completely absurd. And my intention was always that I didn't like what Doc did and was always willing to put the information out there. The question was when and who would be affected. It was a situation where I was almost too cautious and very focused on what would the victims feel, what would the other parties feel, because I don't feel like, I wanted to make sure they were fine above everything else. That's kind of how I see it.
Well, like, people kind of feel of like art commentators, really, right? They overanalyze things like there's like a more nefarious thing there, or there's something else to like dig into. And there's just not, right? You responded, like, it just is what it is. It's very like pretty like in that regard, right? Cut and dry. You did what you did because that's when you had to drop it because of Aiden leaked it on stream. People can maybe criticize how the document was written or anything, like, how people are.
Yeah.
But by you responding, I don't know what you're meant to do. Like, I think
I'm in
just,
a difficult position. I think because I have two. I've always kind of thought that I've like there are two different sides of this that are barely aware of each other. There's a side that thinks that like I was too harsh on him and that the doc didn't do anything wrong, and then they have the side that thinks I swept for Doc and that I completely covered for all these allegations and stuff. So that's why I probably didn't put like a general response that was full out there, because either way I'm gonna anger someone, so there's like literally no point of doing so.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's it.
You
can say I mishandled and I should have known better or whatever, but I think when you understand my intentions and what I aimed for, I'm fully worth saying I probably should have done better in some cases. But I think if you're gonna make an exact sweeping claim about my intentions, I think that's wrong. I think my intention was always that I didn't like what would happen here and wanted to put it out at some point. I think it was the caution though that got me.
Yeah, I mean, you put your hands up. I just, with some people, the way they're critiquing it, right? It's like I just don't know what more they want. Because at that point, all you can do is say, yeah, maybe I fucked up here, maybe I did this or whatever. Respond that way, put your hands up, and just move on. Like, I don't get what some people want from it, while trying to stir up more shit. It's because I'll be real, right? Everyone messes up, right? Everyone will do something stupid. I mean, I've done my fair share of stupid shit, right? But you just put your hand up, you put your hands up, you accept it, and you kind of move on. You can't keep responding, right?
Yeah,
because that draws more attention to it.
That was an issue with me, and I had to let that go pretty quickly. I kept responding to people. I kept going on people's streams. I did a tour on this first day, and I went on Dickers, Queeman, and Beckett, and then I kept going on other streams, and then Dickers and Soulscobity. I have an issue with calling the people's streams too much and responding too much. Even the response I made in someone's mod server. The response I made in someone's mod server, and I talked to them. I was like, even publishing that was wrong. I think because I probably should just be like, all right, make one statement and shut the fuck up. That's an issue I have.
Well, I get that. I mean, especially a few years ago, that was 100. That was one of my big things, right? Is that I'd keep responding to things. I'd respond to everything, right? And that's not a way to go about it. I think a great example of this, not to throw the poor fucker under the bus, right? But Kasari, right? He had a time where he just responded to everything on Twitter, right? Just everything.
Yeah.
And that it's never good because you get painted as not saying that this is how you got painted, right? But eventually you get kind of painted as, oh well, this guy's an easy target to really piss off or whatever, or if he does something, we can really.
It's literally milking, trying to milk that person of content and stuff, and trying to get them to fucking implode.
It's kind of you respond once or twice, right? Maybe one on the stream, one in your Discord, so something like that. Put it on your community tab. I think for me at least, I had this recently. I had a tweet blow up. They got 60, 70,000 odd likes, saying that I subbotted. It's well, it's not true. I disproved it with one tweet, put it on my community tab, left it.
Yeah, you shouldn't worry about Twitter things. This is why I left Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why I completely left Twitter. A cause of that was the dog shit, because I was just annoyed at the people, and I was like, this shit's getting to me too much. I should probably just stop. So I completely left Twitter. Exactly. All I use it for research now, because, and the thing is, Twitter is only good for connecting with other creators. That's it. That's all it's good for.
100%. Yeah.
If you're talking about how much you might get from Twitter and how that'll connect to other people, it won't do shit. And I don't want to leak specifics, but I checked and I was like, holy shit, this is ass.
It's only good for at least from a content creator perspective, right? Of being able to reach out to people, talking to other content creators. and then possibly like putting out some other stuff, right? But it's people get obsessed with stuff that people say on Twitter, and there's just no point, right? Like, who gives a shit? It's a tool that's useful when you're a content creator for research, to reach out to people, to maybe even to a certain extent promote your stuff,
creator,
right?
absolutely. But as you get bigger, you can I can probably like contact someone fairly easily.
Discord, literally any other platform. I mean, fuck it, like Instagram. I speak to like Inabra on Instagram now. On Instagram, I don't use like Twitter or whatever with him. It's like any other social media. Literally, like you can basically avoid Twitter when you get to a certain stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought I'd just bring up the doc stuff because like I will get like raped over the coals for it. If I don't at least mention it.
Yeah,
I was speaking to Ace and I was like, I feel like it's a topic that I have no questions. Like, I'm not going to sit here and like quiz you because I mean, I've already seen your responses. You've already put out responses. You've already said all the things that you need to say. It would be pointless me sitting here asking you more questions about something you've already answered. It also isn't like a particularly interesting topic, really. Like when it comes down to it, right? It's pretty like cut and dry. It's just people have made it a bit more, juicy.
About the handling of it, yeah. I think I get why, because I make videos about pedos all the time. I should be able to I should be doing this better. There shouldn't be an issue with me. I even made a video criticizing people for mishandling situations. And although that video is mostly about like, hey, you shouldn't download CP and put it in like documents to prove that this person's fucking guilty. I think the general consensus of that was like, oh, handling situations is bad. Like, the way that people handle the situations have been bad. And I think, I mean, I have no qualms with anyone who criticized me. Like me, I had a really good conversation with Lio. I don't want to mention anything like too much because I don't know what I'm allowed to like say, because I didn't really tell him like, hey, I'm mentioning this publicly or whatever. I'm not gonna say any details. Me and him had a good conversation though. Which is fine with me. Yeah, I mean, that's it. It is what it is, and we'll see what happens as we move forward. My only thing is I probably don't want is I think people are gonna maybe try and bring it up in a sort of way to try and discredit me if I'm making a video on someone. I know again, if they do, the challenge will come to me and I'll accept it and push back as best I can.
Yeah, and I mean, it gets to a point where, like, in a year's time or whatever, I think it is genuinely such a small thing that maybe in a year or so people will forget, right? I mean, like, some of my like biggest fuck ups, right? That like did get covered by people like Kristen or whatever. They've kind of been left in the past because, like, I held my hands up. I took my lashings or whatever, like rightfully so or whatever. I apologized, moved on. Because there's only so much you can do in that situation, and then majority of people kind of just like move on. Which I'm assuming is what's going to happen here, right? Because I think people were like, I think it just happened at an unfortunate time, right, when there wasn't much content going on. So people were like, okay, right, this is great.
I can't exactly say that because I sound fucking lame. Like, I can't believe all the vultures are after me for the content.
Yeah.
That's so fucking stupid.
But yeah, I guess it was just like, of course, not saying like any criticism like given to you wasn't like valid or whatever, but I think it just happened at an unfortunate time where like any criticism that was given to you was heightened because there was just nothing going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah,
I heard that from a couple of people actually. Yeah, I heard that from a couple of people. I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's probably true, but again, it's not like I can complain because I mean it's like I literally like shouldn't. My entire thing was like I probably shouldn't complain because at the end of the day, I make videos like this. I've been completely willing to dish it out. So I should be fine taking it back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's better to take your your lashings, respond where you feel like you need to, and then just kind of move on. But because I think that's where like people like Bo Blacks, your tipsters and whatever, that's where they have like a big issue, right? Because they just keep responding,
didn't
they keep
go
going.
The lyric stuff. Just made recorded an entire call with them. Was like, this guy's manipulative. Just keep going the tipster bully streams or whatever. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
You just want to keep responding to people because that's how you get someone like Parlo again, where it's like you're making Reddit accounts and responding to people and fighting with them, and it's like, dude, this is your fucking job. Like, go fucking work.
Yeah.
You're
making a livelihood of this.
And you're like on Reddit, like being posted. Like, it's like, dude, it's not like an office job. You can just fuck around and be like, lol, I'm just gonna do this stuff. Like, dude, you need to make videos and shit. You need to fucking do this stuff, especially if you're not even in your own house yet.
Well, yeah, like I mean, like I mentioned him like doxing himself. Like on the same day, like a part of the lead up was like people quote tweeted him with like the "Not Like Us" Kendrick Lamar lines, like, and he was like, "You're insinuating I'm a paedophile," and he just had like a massive spurg out. And it's just so funny because it's just like.
Mm.
I'm not saying that like I'm better than anyone, right? But I just couldn't imagine myself like being in a situation where I was like I would act like that. I don't know how you get to that point. I just don't know.
It's probably from being online at such a young age. I saw recently someone showed me that he had like a femboy account, which I didn't know until recently. But I mean, I looked and I was like, yeah, it's absolutely from being online for fucking so long. I was like, holy shit,
bro! That was the beginning of the end for Parlo, bro.
It was over from that was his Mr. Manshi. That was his Mr. Manshi. It literally was, except without the. I mean, yeah, but I mean, holy.
without the genitals, right?
Without the genitalia, I didn't see Parlo's cock, thankfully. But, oh my god, that literally is the Mr. Manshi equivalent.
Parlo's Mr. Manshi.
Parlo's Mr. Manshi. Parlo is some femboy account. Yeah, beware.
At least Parlo isn't on his Instagram like in full makeup, trying to like rock it out with like a big bushy beard in his Tesla.
Yeah, if Parlo was like in videos being like made his banner like a stupid like me of him, or like a bitmoji of him with like fucking weird animations and stuff.
Yeah.
I think obviously people would know a lot more. At least he knows that. Yeah. At least he knows not to like plaster it everywhere. But
at least he knows not to start on OnlyFans. So could be worse.
Yeah, you haven't had the arc yet. That's coming next.
Yeah, one more mental breakdown. One more of his dad deleting his channel, and he's fucked, bro. He is at the OnlyFans stage.
I feel bad for him, but it's like it's not my I can't do shit.
Yeah, like it's a bit of like I feel sympathetic for the situation he's in, right, with his dad or whatever. It's just funny though. It's like you say that line to like somebody outside the internet. His dad, at the great old age of 19, deleted his livelihood, and he cried about it on Twitter. It just sounds fucking hilarious. It doesn't sound like that was
it's like a lot of lolcows. Like the situation's a tragedy, and when you look into it and you're like properly analyzing, like, well, this kind of fucking sucks. But it's also like Fallen Chungus went homeless. It's like that's funny. Regardless of like how bad it is and how much it sucks, it's still like it sucks, but it's funny. And that's kind of how all the lolcow stuff is built on. So if Parlo's watching, you need to stop doing this stuff. You need to you need to take some notes, or don't, because
or your dad's home might get foreclosed.
Or you can become like a Toastify essay in a year or so. I don't know.
Yeah, it would actually bang a little bit. There's a lot to go over. It would actually be like a big video.
Yeah, I was considering looking into a lot more of the Parlo stuff. Originally, my original script of the YouTubers aren't the police video. And I think I kind of cut it out because I was like, I don't really know too much about this. I think a lot of it's just exploring. I was like, this is kind of the purpose of this segment is an entry level. Like, hey, this is like kind of what most people do. This is like the most least malicious to most malicious. And that was like the entry point. So there wasn't really any need to go that hard in the purpose of the video.
It's because he's kind of just like a sad little man, isn't he? Like that's just kind of his whole character. You can sum him up in like a few words.
Well, in that video, he seems more like a well-intentioned kid who's to like fuck things up. A sad little man is not like fucking. That's not exactly what I was aiming for, but I mean, yeah.
I mean, especially when you compare it to Briarn, which I think was he like one of the next ones, like after, wasn't he like the next?
He was the one after. You seen him respond recently as well. This was 3 weeks ago.
Oh my
God. I didn't read the entire thing, but I got the idea. It was like, I'm doing great, by the way, guys. Where is it?
Oh my God, the amount of community tabs he's posted.
All right, hello.
Yeah, like my honest conversation video still sounds. He was talking about his like quitting like commentary stuff. So much.
My honest conversation video still stands, regardless of what's happened in a few weeks. I'd already made my mind up to take a creative break from the platform and alias. The fact that some of you still have me living rent-free into your head is hilarious. Dude, Dude, we're all living rent-free. Brion has got like a full 4-bedroom mansion inside my head. Mortgage already paid. That's what's going on, yeah.
So good,
This is like the most fucking lame fucking... post of like, I'm doing great, by the way. I'm doing better than the people that hate me. What are the replies on this?
As well, it was a combination of that and the fact he fucked up bits of the Nikkei 30 Fortnite stuff. So he had like a full mental breakdown for no reason and just like fucking like disappeared for a bit.
Dude, he made a massive fucking thing. Someone went in the comments, this is a response to Toastify video. It's like, no, it's not. This is a message to my audience. And then someone says, why didn't you respond to his video that mentioned you? And it's like, why would I respond to a video that's clearly made as an unfair, biased, vendetta hit piece against me? It's like, dude, you just plunge into the dictionary and put like a word
Keywords.
salad. Yeah, keywords, literally. I shouldn't be trusted. I'm not credible now just because some insane, irrational hatred for me. Dude.
So funny, dude.
He's
so unstable.
I'm not sure if he was like that and so unfair to me in this video because he thinks I'm Indian. I don't think he is Indian. Did he say he's Indian? I don't remember him think. I don't remember thinking he's Indian. Which is how he tried to make me look. What the fuck? Dude, how did I make him how did I paint him as Indian because I used the clips and photos of him? Like, dude.
See, that's the worst thing that he's done, right? Is like he's been called Indian.
He's been called Indian.
Dude,
that's so funny.
He looks like a walking, talking kebab, but that's the worst bit.
This is so much cope in just one little like paragraph. Not even one little paragraph. It's a massive rant. That's so funny. Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't even see that until recently. Oh
so
my
funny,
god.
Bro, this is what we mean, man. Lolcows, man. They're great. Like genuine. This is what like the word lolcow actually means. Someone like this. Someone that you can just like it doesn't stop. Genuinely doesn't stop. You can probably make like whole channels based off these people.
I mean, yeah, people have them. You know, people have them.
Yeah. You know, great content, man. Great content.
Yeah. Well, are you gonna wrap it up or any more questions? I'd be down to.
No, you know, I'm pretty happy, man. I mean, what the last episode was 2 years. Maybe let's not wait another 2 years if we do another episode.
Yeah, we gotta start running the different projects and stuff, you know.
Well, yeah, exactly. That was actually just like quickly. Like, what have you got in store next, man?
I cannot say, but it's quite a big project, and you might not see me for a couple of months because I'm going to be working on it. But it'll be out when it's out. When it's out, it'll be like probably my biggest video ever. Every time I make a video, it's like this is my next biggest video, but I don't think I'll be able to top this one ever. So it just size like sheer magnitude. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, they're good. It probably, bro. It's gonna send shockwaves, man. It's gonna send shockwaves.
Reviews coming in soon. Yeah, you know what it is. But I have a video ready, and that's coming out in like I don't know when this is gonna be released, but like it's coming out in like a few days. It's like 50 minutes long. Honestly, I didn't even intend for it to. When is this coming out?
Whenever. Whenever I can probably get out.
Okay, I'm gonna
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Oh, I can't mention it then. I was gonna say I'd mention it, just be like, well, it's out right now. What I'll say is the topic's like strange for a video that's like 50 minutes, but I didn't intend it for it to be 50 minutes long. I just like started writing, and like by the time I was done, I was like, and I was recording, I was like, holy shit, this is actually really long. I thought it was gonna be only be like 20 minutes long or something. So, don't slate me because the video will look strange, and people will probably make fun of it on Twitter.
That'd be great, man. More content, bro. Like,
hell yeah.
Let's go.
Yes, let's go. Finally, yes.
But man, I appreciate you coming back on TrashTalk, man, and you know being the first guest back on after like 2 odd months. You know, the new era of TrashTalk, man. New era. Hopefully.
New era. Let's fucking go.
Starting off with a bang with Discord going now, so you know, and not even be able to record my own podcast, having to get like you know the person I'm talking to record.
Send you an OBS, the little OBS recording, yeah.
Yeah, fucking great, man. But I do appreciate you coming on, and thank you everyone for watching today's episode of TrashTalk. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. But I've been your host Samuel. I've been here with Toastify, and I will catch you in the next YouTube video.